Grandstand Bettors here with 32 NFL season previews in 32 days. We continue on with the AFC South, and we're going to look at the Jacksonville Jaguars today. Make sure you smash that like button because the NFL season is only a month or so away. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you don't miss out on your favorite team's season preview. Before we get into the Jacksonville Jags today, just a reminder, go over to grandstandbettors.com and sign up for our free $1,000 NFL betting contest. That's right, $1,000 we're giving away free to one of you, our subscribers. The link is below in the description. Also, we're giving away a $100 referral bonus to the person who refers the most people to that contest. So, there's a good chance you could get money either way. Whether you are going over for the NFL contest or to become part of our Grandstand Bettors family, at the very least, just start living that grandstand life. But without further ado, let's dive into the Jags season preview. And in doing so, we need to look back at their 2020 campaign. The Jacksonville Jaguars last season beat the Colts 27-20 with Gardner Minshew as their quarterback in Week 1. And then they lost 15 straight games with Minshew and Mike Glennon as their starters, which entitled them to the first pick of the 2021 NFL Draft and in turn got them a new franchise QB. Listen, ever since their run in 2017, the Jags have been on a downward trajectory. But after hiring Urban Meyer and having 9 picks in this draft, there is some promise for the future of the organization. Looking back at last season, though, the Jags either got destroyed or they were in the game with 5 minutes to go. They only lost 5 games by 5 points or less. And the thing that was missing in those games was an X-Factor player that could come in, put the game on his shoulders, and pull out a win for the Jags. But that is why they went out and got Trevor Lawerence. Looking at their offense last season, they were 28th in total yards, 21st in passing, 29th in rushing, and 30th in points. That's not good at all. As we mentioned before, Mike Glennon and Minshew aren't exactly the guys that you want as your starting QB for the team, but their offensive line is also not much to write home about either, which is kind of a shame considering they had James Robinson at running back who managed 1,000 yards in 14 games. The Jags also had good wideouts in Keenan Cole, DJ Shark, D.D. Westbrook, but however, the quarterbacks just couldn't get them the ball consistently to make plays. The Jags did make some offseason moves and draft picks at both of these positions, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, let's look at their defense from last season. The Jags gave up over 400 yards a game, over 30 points per game, and those are both second worst in the league last year. This can be attributed somewhat to the offense, since the offense couldn't keep the ball on the field and the defense was out there for most of the time. But regardless, they only produced 17 turnovers all season. So they were not giving their offense a chance to be on the field much either. They did rank 21st in pass defense, which was better than their rushing defense that came in 29th, but all in all, they were not good defensively, and that explains a lot of their 1-15 season. Beside Dwayne Smoot's 5.5 sacks all season, their pass rush was also close to nothing throughout the season, so it was clear, if you watched any of the Jags games, that they needed help on both sides of the ball, and that's what they got in the offseason. In free agency, the Jags did lose a couple wide receivers, but picked up Marvin Jones from the Lions and Philip Dorsett from the Seahawks. They also got Carlos Hyde from the Seahawks, which I'm not sure if he's going to play a lot, but he should be good on short third down conversions and out of the backfield, and he's a good veteran presence for Robinson and rookie Travis Etienne. They also signed a couple defensive linemen, which should help with their run defense, and quite a few cornerbacks and safeties to give them more depth in the secondary and potentially revamp the defense that they once had with Jalen Ramsey. Man, that seems like so long ago. We also cannot forget about they signed Tim Tebow. Signing him was probably the most pointless and useless thing the Jags could have done in the offseason, but It's probably sold them some tickets, and who knows, maybe Tim Tebow will prove everyone wrong, or he'll at least get cut and go join a Florida baseball team. Moving on to their draft picks, the Jags selected teammates Trevor Lawerence and Travis Etienne with their first 2 picks, who have already played together. They have great chemistry, and they're 2 young, electrifying players that should definitely make the Jag fans excited about the season. They were also able to get left tackle Walker Little from Stanford, and that should help their offensive line, and cornerback Tyson Campbell out of Georgia. Now, if you look at their schedule this year, they are right in the middle with their 18th hardest schedule. It might be generous to give them 2 wins from their divisional games, but we're going to go with that, as they might surprise the Colts in 1 game, or they could beat the Texans twice if the Texans turn out really bad this season, and who knows what's going on with them, especially with Watson and his whole situation. The Jags also play Denver and Cincinnati in addition to their games against the AFC East. The Jags will have a good offense, but not a good enough defense to keep most of these games close. Realistically, they might be able to win 3 of those games, but we see a 2-4 situation playing out in those 6 games, kind of same as their divisional games. Now, if we look to their NFC opponents, the NFC West and the Atlanta Falcons is who they play. They might be able to beat Atlanta since it's a home game, and that would put them at 5 wins, giving room for maybe an upset, but it looks like it's still going to hit the under. The Jags have a bright future, but do they have a good enough team to go over 6.5 wins this season? That means the Jags, who were 1-15 last season, would have to go 7 and 10 now, because there's 17 games. 7-10. I don't think that's happening this year. This team should be fun to watch as they get a little more experience as they move down the road towards the 2022 season, but over 6.5 wins, we don't think so. Take the Jags under 6.5. As always, we are 3 days into our NFL season previews, so stay tuned. Tomorrow, we finish off the AFC South with the Houston Texans. Sit back, relax, enjoy our season previews, and we'll see you tomorrow.